Hello everybody, standing behind me is one of the most important World War II sites that we have within the East Sussex-Kent border. It really is an incredible piece of history. I'm talking about RAF Rye, although weirdly enough there wasn't actually an RAF base here. But we're talking about the receiver station and obviously in front of me the receiver mast bases. So welcome to RAF Rye and the Chain Home receiver station. Enjoy it and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now. Situated on the border of Kent and East Sussex lies one of the most important and historic World War II sites in the area, that of RAF Rye radar station. Built by the Royal Air Force, the site was built around 1939 and the station's role was to detect and track enemy aircraft as an early warning during the Second World War. The site formed as part of a chain of radar sites along the southeast and east coasts, also known as Chain Home, which was the code name given for them. RAF Rye's position was overlooking the English Channel towards northern France, and an important element of the country's defences during the Battle of Britain. It was on the 13th of August 1940 when the Luftwaffe launched what would be codenamed as Eagle Day, which is an all-out air assault to destroy the RAF, of which the radar station at Rye was labelled as a prime target. It was understood that all the buildings other than the receiver and transmitter buildings were hit, and the station was temporarily out of action. By doing this, the Luftwaffe successfully attacked a number of key airfields in southern England. After this, defensive measures were put in place, and at Rye, 4 light anti-aircraft gun sites were added as protection. In this video, what we're about to explore the only untouched remains of this once massive site, the receiver building being the most prominent. Its role was to have received signals identifying the position, numbers and formations of planes, and was also able to distinguish between Allied and enemy planes, with the information being passed on to help coordinate with a suitable response. Its final role after the war came when it was converted in the 1950s as part of the Rota programme to help in the aerial threat detection during the early stages of the Cold War. Then, not long after that, the radar station was eventually sold in 1958. Thankfully now at least, some of the site has been given Grade 2 listed status, with most of the area now being converted or demolished. What's left is a timeless reminder of how close the war came to our shores. Need to clarify something first. First thing is, this is a permission. I've asked permission to be on the owner's land actually, so we're all okay with this. The other thing is, it is extremely overgrown at the moment, so it's kind of like treading through a very deep jungle. So if you can see, my foot is basically just disappearing. Luckily it's not wet. So there's a few things here that we're going to point out today, and hopefully you'll find them really interesting. And it's not the receiver station, it's not just the receiver station, it's interesting. So what we're going to do is we're concentrating on our first little bit here. Now, for all intents and purposes, this should be a shed, but it's not. However, this in fact was the guard post. So we'll see if we can get in it. Let's go. So look, looks like a shed, but no, this was a guard post. The condition actually is relatively nice, really well kept considering. So let's trek through. I'd love to say this is going to be one of these sort of fancy edited videos, but I just can't see it happening today. The terrain is very interesting. Wow, look at this. Oh wow. Oh, look at this. So what I was told by the locals was that this was the guard station. So where the guards were stationed at here also talk about a couple of other things as well. Like I said, there's so much I can tell you about this place that it will be beyond your history lesson that you've just seen. Interesting how the window frames are still here. Incredible condition really when you think about it. We are in Romney Marsh, so it's very windy and blustery. And yes, that's right everybody. As is custom with Phoenix history, I think we've located the toilets. Toilet number 1. Yeah, look, toilet's still there in situ, just broken off. There you go. Toilet number 2. How cool is that? Well, you know, there's a light switch there as well. Let's see if we can get around a little bit more. There you go. How brilliant is that? There you go. Toilets, building. Guardhouse. Look at this. I just can't get over how amazing the condition of this is. You've even got, that's right, you probably noticed, look. I'm assuming would be the original green paint. And then all of these look like they were hangers maybe. Isn't that brilliant? Right. So, we're going to head towards the receiver station, which is obviously the biggest thing that we have on this site. But I'm sort of teasing you really, because there's a few other really interesting bits that are here that I want to sort of show you. So, let's go and actually have a look. Come on. Right, so we're heading into the building, the main building, the building that is probably historically the most important. That's right, you've guessed it, it is the receiver station. The actual receiver building itself. Now, when I was talking to the people who I got permission from, you can't see it, but they actually live in the officers' buildings that would have been here. So they kind of live in the place where the officers lived. Isn't that cool? And it's just a couple of little semi-detached, two semi-detached houses, and yeah, isn't that brilliant? Obviously you can see that there's some receiver mast bases there as well, and there's obviously, like I said, the guard room. So let's actually have a look in the receiver building itself. Now yeah, so they were saying that it was less than maybe 20 years ago that the original window frames were all here and the windows were actually still in here. So it wasn't that long ago that you could have come in here and would have experienced the fact that, I mean, some of the, well, you can see that even most of it is still in here. Look, so even some of these windows are here, but I think what they're referring to, what one of the owners was, I suppose we'll call her an owner, she's a very lovely woman in fact, so you can see that wasn't too long ago when actually a lot of the original fixtures still would have been in place. And what an incredible building. Still be here in, you know, relatively good condition. And that is also something that needs to be put into place. So it won't be long now. What the woman was saying to me, that they're going to actually, planning permissions actually going through. Can I open the door? Maybe not. We'll go round. Just woken up all the pigeons, didn't mean to do that. It's not going to be long now, and they're going to turn this into a house. So there you go. Might be one of the last people to properly document it in here. And interestingly, as you probably can imagine, the smells of pigeons, which I've just scared. Didn't actually mean to do that. Yeah. Smell of pigeons. There's a lot of it's just one of these things that you just got to be really careful of. But the original paint, look at that. This blue, this turquoise blue with like a green and then like almost like a black strip on it. Isn't this brilliant? So as a way to say thank you for them to allow me proper permission, Obviously, this is going to be dedicated to the owners and the people who facilitate and love this site as much as what should be given to it. Because the people who were telling me, I mean, it was amazing. Just being told this fantastic information. You know, when I was doing my research at home, I'd always known about the place, but because it's near Rye and I love Rye, but to actually be here, and then for somebody who actually lives in one of the office's buildings to actually tell me even more history, who's the person who helped give me permission, incredible, really. But look at this. So you can see, you can imagine this receiver station just at one point being an incredible hub of flurry of activity, you know. And we've got to bear in mind, actually, the weird irony is that literally if I'm looking down there, would I be looking down that way? I'm trying to think now. Not too far. Well, okay, let's just say, I'm trying to think, Rye's down there. Yeah, Dim Church, maybe. Well, no, it's actually up there. Just realised. Not too far away are the infamous Denge sound mirrors. So it's kind of weird to sort of think that literally not too far away, you've got the first forms at the beginning stage of radar, and then a stone's throw away, you've got RAF Rye, and the basically the one of the main components of, you know, well, just Britain's war effort into sort of, you know, stopping the Germans from completely taking over. It's just an incredible sort of thing to think about. Now what we're going to do is we're going to walk through there and go in and around. So let's do it, come on. I mean, I'm amazed at the paintwork, really, if you want to look really carefully. Now, we've heard these pigeons, so they can be anywhere. So it will be converted in to a house at some point in the not too distant future. And as you saw on the door, the original door, by the way, that they've got the planning permission. Look at the tiling on this. Wow. Well, this is amazing, isn't it? It's been on my bucket list for a long time, this one. So I can finally get to say I've done it. I'm assuming that's a ventilation pipe from the looks of it. And I did see, I don't know if we saw them, but outside there was some ventilation leftovers out there. Look at that. Wow, that's an amazing bit of detail. Look, can you see the latches? Look at that. So the door, we're assuming, is going to open out that way. How amazing is that? I'm so happy to do this one today, I really am. I'm so buzzing about this. The fact that obviously I had permission, it's all gone really well. How incredible. And then, again, like I said, we can see, obviously, you can just imagine these huge towers on those plinths, these massive concrete plinths. Really is just sort of like so incredible to sort of think, you know, that these mast bases, how big they are. But look at this, isn't this just amazing? Just incredible. Really spoilt today. I'm desperately trying to sort of, well, okay. It's so overgrown here. It's like, really is. It's like up to my knees in like how overgrown it is. So you're sort of hoping that you're not going to be treading on anything like that you shouldn't. But if you start hearing a crunch noise or something, you start worrying, don't you? But yeah, look, this looks like, that's what I was saying when we were outside. Looks like some of the original ventilation that's here. Well, it's got to be. Look at that. Oh, I think he's made a nest in there. Can you hear that, everybody? Don't know what it is. Don't want to disturb it. Isn't that truly spectacular? What we'll do is we'll walk round. We'll walk round and we'll look from where we came through. So you've got two main rooms, and then you've got two utilities rooms, I'm assuming, that were sort of next to it, which you could, obviously we've had a look at. But oh, okay, so yeah, this is where you've got to be really careful. So this is obviously where the cabling, the ditches for all the cabling's gone. Also see where the vent's coming out as well. So all of this, these holes, I've got to be so careful now, because I don't really want to put my foot through and fall in. And like I said, it is so overgrown, you genuinely can't see. There we go. Let's get a bit closer. Again, sorry for the wind that might be coming out. Can't do much about that. And there I was. In there. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Like I always say, I'd rather it get converted into a house than be demolished, because then we know at least the history is still there to survive. As far as I'm concerned, that is the most important thing. So yeah, we've got a few more things to look at. So we've got, obviously we can see the receiver bases. We've got two sets here. There's two behind us which you could see, which are on other people's land. So we're just going to look at these two sets, but they are in a square. So again, not worried about that, because you know they look exactly the same. Although there's one that I've got to take you to, which has got an interesting story about it. And then in the middle, got a light anti-aircraft machine gun emplacement that we're going to explore. It's very overgrown. And then a surprise over yonder there somewhere. So I'll take you to that in a minute. That's kind of a nice little treat for you at the end, actually, which not many people knew about, and it was through Karen, who kindly told me about it. So there we go. Oh, it's just amazing, isn't it? To actually finally get to come here and actually record this place. Such a dream. Let's have a look. Let's keep going. Right, okay. I'm walking about and my feet are just going goodoy. But we're at the furthest set of receiver mast bases. In fact, we'll head right into the middle, so you get to sort of see the layout of them. Of course, there's a workout, this. All these holes in the ground. Right, so here's our receiver mast bases. So originally what you got to understand is that obviously there's four of them in a square, and they would have jotted up straight up. Pretty much the same as those pylons over there, but way bigger. So it would have been huge. There you go. So like I said, there's nothing really to look at. I mean, but they are hefty bits of concrete. They are really huge. I mean, you know, we've seen dragon's teeth, haven't we, on this channel, but these are way bigger than dragon's teeth. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you in perspective of me. So I am 5'10", 11, and I don't. The base is actually taller than I am. So it's basically almost a 6 foot base. Isn't that amazing? It's sunk really deep into the ground, so actually perspective wise, you know, they're quite substantial. You know, that's a good place to put it into context. Yeah, so again, if I stand, well, I'll do it again. So just trying to work this out. If I'm standing, my mum always says a slouch. If I'm standing like that, almost at the height, so they're just shy of 6 foot, I reckon. But they're here. They are here indeed. Isn't that beautiful? So there's our mast bases, but we need to go to the ones in the far distance, and then we need to go to our light anti-aircraft magazine. But before we do that, I'd like to show you around the receiver station just a little bit more. Let's go. Now that we're about halfway through the video, I thought it'd be apt to sort of say that there are lots of other bits, belongings at RAF Rye. For example, if you go to further up, we go to what would be classed as Joe's Cafe. Her buildings, or the buildings for the cafe that aren't too far away if you keep driving up that road that way, the original buildings that are there were the buildings that would have housed staff as well. So you've got the officers, so we've got the officers' buildings that are here just around the corner, which are original. But as you carry on further up the road, so I don't even see the traffic, if you keep going further and further up, there's a cafe, and as you near the Woolpack pub, that cafe, which is called Brooklands, because obviously you do karting there as well, so it's Brooklands, I don't know what it's called, but I remember it being called Joe's Cafe. The buildings that are there, they almost look like glorified Nissan huts. They would have been for the workers and this site, RAF Rye. It's kind of incredible to sort of think that most of you may not know that. You might think, oh, this is brilliant, but there's way more to it. But anyway, this is why I'm here. So I trek through the wilderness again, just so you can get an incredible perspective of really the size of this place. This receiver station is huge, but then we knew that already because we've been to one before. We went to Dunkirk chain home radar. However, the difference between that one and this one was that this is the first ever, which makes it even more historically important. Okay, let's keep walking around just for a second. Of course, this is so knackering. Just this terrain is killing. Whew, there you go. Amazing. Now I've got to go all the way over, oh man, and finish off the last few bits, and then, like I said before, save the what I would call like a nice little gem at the end of it for you. So stay tuned. Let's go. Ooh, as I'm thinking, come on. I'm knackered. I can safely say that thank God I did this in the summer months, because whew, it's dry. I can imagine coming here in winter time when it's wet, you'd be drenched. So this, God blimey, catch my breath. This is really unique for the wrong reasons. So let me tell you about this special block that we have. Special corner of this mast. So from what I was told, the owner before the owner that is now, the former owner, he wanted to basically demolish the whole site, and I would assume that was before it had its grade, its heritage listing. And ignore the helicopter. And what they decided to do was decided to get a sledgehammer and start smashing away. Just one, obviously forgetting the fact that you've got everything else that needs to go. And apparently, to take all of that down, now I might be misquoted here, I think she said it took about 6 months, sorry I'm laughing, about 6 months to get that off. And then I think they just sort of gave up. So, yeah, amazing. So, vandalism or dereliction, whatever you want to sort of call it. But yeah, so sledgehammer clearly couldn't remove this incredible structure. But what's interesting is by them doing that, you can see what we normally suspect is this sort of like, it's almost like paper mache really, that the fact if you've got this wire meshing obviously to support it, to give it its frame, and then just basically put the concrete on like a mixer. And then again, you can see these rusted little sort of like horseshoes almost, but they're not. And again, the fact that if you were looking up, this would have been a completely different sight to behold. Huge, 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 huge radar. How amazing. Whew. Right, and the final structure, well, the final one on this bit is our machine gun + placement. So, oh God, let's go. Right. Come on. So, here is our light anti-aircraft position. Isn't that amazing? So, you would have had two singular pits that would have housed Vickers machine guns. And this one obviously is virtually inaccessible due to the amount of overgrowth, but as you'll see at the end, that's got a little something special for you on that. So yeah, marked out like a T shape. So the idea is you come in there, base, gun, same exactly. So if they were at full force, it would have made a hell of a noise. But obviously to protect this really incredible site, really. But yeah, again, this solid concrete, and again, it's just amazing, really. And that we know that we're staring at this building that won't be too far now when it will be converted into a house. But the structure will still remain the same, so people don't worry, it's still going to be there. It's just going to sort of be changed a little bit. And I was told that the plans for it, they've made it as a legacy and a reminder of what the actual site was. So it's kind of nice, actually. It's quite good because you see that a lot these days where they do mark out the history of it. But wow, whew. I'm not built for this terrain, I tell you. Oh, isn't it magical? Couldn't think of any better place to be right now today, you know that? Simply stunning. Okay, so as I end this section, the main section, there's, like I said, a few things that I want to show you, a couple more things. But yeah, so let me just point this all out to you one final time. So you've got the guardhouse, which is looking directly in front. If you were to carry on a little bit further, you'd encounter the guard offices or the officers' quarters, the houses. You can see in front, well, we're obviously at part of the mast bases, these big old things. We've got over there our light anti-aircraft position, and then obviously in the background we've got our big old receiver station. So yeah, on this section we've documented it. It's not over. Wow. Let's keep going. So I was told that this building has never truly been explored, but it was labelled as they thought, which isn't actually labelled in historical records, is an ammunition. And from the outside of it, you see these blast walls. That's literally overgrown, I'm not kidding you. These are the blast walls that open up into this, and it looks like there's a chimney on top. But I've just got a torch, which is practically useless. This, they reckon, was an ammunition store. Now, what's even more interesting, when you look above, you feel like you're seeing a chimney somewhere there. And I don't know whether that's to give a false illusion, but this definitely is an ammunition store. Wow, nobody's been in here for like eons. And it is just off the beaten track of the RAF Rye. Oh, sorry, itching and everything. But look at this. Isn't this incredible? Like I said, it's got the illusion, it's a very solid bunker, which gives the illusion that it's almost like a sort of decoy bunker. And to be fair, it looks very familiar to me. But from what I've been told, this was an ammunition store. So I'm going to take the locals' word for it, and especially because there's nothing labelled about this site, which there actually isn't. The fact that it is here in intense, that's right, intense undergrowth. But look at this. As history goes, can you honestly say this isn't the best? Especially something that has not been documented. This alone would have been worth its own little video. Now look, that to me, everybody, looks like a generator plinth or type of generator plinth, but it can't be. It just might be a utility store, from what I could probably assume that would be, with a very, very heavy enforced door there. So maybe that was for, I don't know. Really don't know. But ammunition store, I don't really know what exactly for ammunition was. I mean, we've got the machine gun towers, which I'm assuming maybe that was probably what the ammunition storage was for. Because there's no other buildings labelled on the site as ammunition stores, and you do need one when you're at a place like this. So, again, it makes sense. This would be for your Vickers anti-aircraft, your Vickers machine guns. All the ammunition here and everything else. I mean, it might just serve as a massive utilities in general. I don't actually know. It's like literally, I'm going on what I've been told by the locals, which was that it's some form of ammunition store or storage. But like I said, the only thing that I always just worry about with that is that, yes, it's very possible. However, it would only be for the machine gun emplacements that are here, even though, in fairness, there are a few. So, yeah, who knows? But whatever it is, whatever we're going to label it as, an ammunition store, if we want to say it via locals or whatever, it's an impressive site. It is an impressive structure. I'm glad this tiny little torch is doing its absolute best. But whatever it's being used for now, you can see that it's being used for storage from the farmer. Massive truck tyres. And luckily there's no wildlife that's inhabiting here. I was worried when I came in here, and you know what my rules are. If I see wildlife inhabiting, that's it, I'm gone. I'm not going to disturb what they do. I know obviously a lot of idiots out there love to do that. They love to go into places where there's wildlife and just tell them to clear off, but on this occasion, no. Although, in my defence, when I opened that door a minute ago with the pigeons were let loose, that was purely accidental. And they are pigeons. Rats with wings, as everybody says. But yeah, no. Isn't it amazing? What I'll do is I will film it from the outside, and then, film it from on top, actually. And you get a better perspective of what it is. But my first instinct was it looked like a decoy bunker. I mean, it's a bunker, really, what it looks like to me, rather than a store. But then you've got this. And I've never seen a side portal like this before, like a side store, which would make me obviously assume that it's part of a storage unit. And because of the substantial nature of that site over there, it's got to be related to it. Mystery, write down in the comments below. I'm going to stick with the locals and say it's a storage ammunition for... I'm going to stick with them, I'm going to side with them. I don't want to say anything different. That's what they assumed it might be. This looks a bit more substantial than that. It could be a generator room, I don't know. But then again, why? You know, why? But yeah, interesting building. Now I've got to get out of here, and I'm not joking, it was not pleasant. But well worth it, obviously, to come down here. So let's go up the top. And this is standing on top of the, well, we're going to call it a bunker for the moment, because technically it is a bunker, definitely. Huge, thick concrete. Look at this beautiful landscape. Like I said, the locals were saying it's some form of ammunition storage. So fair enough, but it's so well concealed as well. There you go. Right. Whew. One more final thing to show you, and then we are done. So let's go. Everybody, so I'm at another machine gun emplacement, which is on, which I've been kindly asked to sort of film by Caroline, who's the owner of one of the original officers' houses, and this is another one that's on the site. So this would have been a gun emplacement in here, which is now used for sheep storage, which is really crazy. And the condition of it, we were just sort of saying, like, the condition is absolutely fantastic. And what she said was, when they dug up a pit here, the original base for the machine gun emplacement was actually here. Now this isn't actually labelled as the Grade 2 listed heritage, so it's really crazy to sort of think how amazing this actually still is intact. And as you can imagine, it's very windy here because we are on the marsh, but there you go. I'll just quickly show you around here quickly. Ignore the wind, everybody. Sheep here. There you go. So again, this would have held 2 machine guns inside. How amazing is that? They're really well kept. There you go. Right. Okay. Let's go to the next bit. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Just want to say thank you so much for the permission and the kindness to show me around these amazing buildings. I really appreciate it, so thank you so much. I know you're watching, but more importantly that I got to take you along with me. We got to tick this one off the list. I'm so grateful I finally got to. You have no idea how many times I've driven past this place and been like, I really need to go there at some point. Finally done it. And the mysterious building that we will probably never find out whether it was ammunition, whether it's a bunker or something like that. Who knows? It's interesting though, isn't it? I will ponder long and hard about that building. However, thank you so much for coming along with me. Hopefully I gave you as much information, not only in your history lesson but on the journey whilst we were going around as possible. And if you do come down it, if you do, please ask permission first. It's not going to hurt. It's better to ask permission than to get in trouble whilst you're going around there. So please ask permission first. Alright, it is pretty dangerous here. The ground's ridiculous, it's quite bumpy. And obviously, as I always say in my channel, unless it's totally safe to do so, unless you understand what the word common sense means, then don't attempt to do it. It's not really worth it. But like I said before, just on a place like this, it's always best to ask permission first. Thankfully I did, and thankfully I got it. But more importantly than that, because of asking for permission, I managed to gain some even more extraordinary information that isn't even in the records. So it pays, doesn't it? If you're a history lover, always try and do that. It really does pay. Thank you. Any more words of Phoenix history, because history matters, and wow, doesn't it, just on this place. Really does, doesn't it? Epitomises World War II history at its finest. The fact that it just encompasses everything about the fact that, you know, like I said, it's eventually going to get turned into a house. That's fine. Like I said, repurpose is fantastic. And not only that, but we've only touched the surface of this site today. And what I mean by that is that there is an extra bit that is on the second half of this. But today we've only focused on the main part that is grade listed. The rest of it has been slightly demolished or turned into another house. For example, there's another receiver station, which is a house now. And yeah, for all it's worth, it's amazing what's left, and I'm truly grateful for it. So take care everybody, see you very soon. Remember to spread the word of the channel, like, comment, subscribe. Much love to all of you out there. Let's do it. You ready? Kapow.